welcome to the Louis Joel Gallery in Altona to see and be present for the artwork of Stu Thomas. I'd like to acknowledge that we are here on the stolen lands of the Bunurong people, and I pay my respects to elders past and present, and at the start of NAIDOC week, so always was, always will be. I'm Karen Ingram, I'm the manager of this incredible centre, so I get to come to work every day and be surrounded by art, and very excited to have Stu Thomas's work here. I'm going to have a bit of a chat to Stu, and there may be, time for questions later, but otherwise, if there's not, you can approach Stu after he performs, so we're getting a really rounded experience of art and music today. I have done a little bit of preparation. Come closer if you have to come closer. We are recording this and it will be up on the interwebs tomorrow or the day after for posterity forevermore until something else happens. Stu. Stu Thomas is a musician, composer, producer, multi-instrumentalist, bass player, guitarist and trumpeter, performer and visual artist, and also described as a maverick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you looked at my Wikipedia?
Somewhere, I don't know, look, I don't name my sources. So, Stu, your music career spans 30 years and you've played in many bands, creating and collaborating with the likes of Kim Salmon and Dave Graney, Mark Ferry, Tanya Lee Davis, as well as your own music in the outfit, the Stu Thomas Paradox. So tell me about this paradox.
Paradox, okay. Well, the reason I came up with the name, it sort of sounded like the Jimi Hendrix Experience, I suppose. That was already taken, and then the Isaac Hayes Situation or something. That's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
It's not the Situation, but the Isaac Hayes something or another.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to call it the Stu Thomas, but then it's just too weird. It's unacceptable to most people in the world. So I put Paradox there, and I thought, I'll just keep that as this sort of umbrella name for everything that I do from now on, because it was like I can either play solo and still call it that, or have a drummer with me, or a bass player, or all of us, all four of us, and more. So I think it's a good catch-all name, and I think it describes what I like to do, which is mix up lots of styles and hybridise things and all that kind of thing. So even though the Paradox is sort of described as a voodoo surf band, which means nothing really, but it does sort of already tell you that it's a mixture of things, and we kind of favour a surf guitar sound, but it veers quite wildly in styles from dub to pop in the same song, and then sort of
it's like
blues
where
and what have
anything
you.
can happen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and also the people I had playing with me, or have playing with me, we haven't played for a while. I say that in the past tense because we haven't played all year, but that's fine. I think it's okay. I don't really want to play until we have a whole new set.
Yeah.
But in my band, Billy Miller, his son Eddie Miller, and Phil Collins, fantastic drummer. So that's officially the Paradox, but we have had other people play, like Claire Moore and Mal Beveridge to fill in on bass every now and again, and Rosie Westbrook, she's the most recent convert when I did a Lee Hazelwood show.
Yeah, and so the Lee Hazelwood, Nancy Sinatra shows you do, is that part of the Stu Thomas Paradox?
Yes, so just sort of a Stu Paradox presents.
Right,
And I've done lots of different things like Lee Hazelwood or Bowie or Iggy Pop stuff. And it's always the Paradox presents.
Okay, excellent. going back a bit, you were born in Canberra but grew up in Perth.
Yeah,
Is that how
a long
it
time
goes?
ago.
Yeah. How long have you been in Melbourne, or specifically in Melbourne's west?
Oh yeah, I moved to Melbourne in 1990. I was born in Canberra, moved to Perth when I was 2, apparently. Don't remember that. And we stayed there until I was about 20, and then we kind of moved here with a band called Organism. We packed up all our jobs and one future Falcon band, and just put it, whatever we could put into it, and drove across
the Nullarbor.
Broke down in Kalgoorlie and stayed there for a week waiting on parts, as you do. And
this is a classic Australian rock band story, isn't it? Like, especially getting out of Perth.
Yeah, I know, and most people turn back at that point, but not which I've heard.
Yeah.
But we were like pig-headed about it. We actually,
we were
pay
20, right? So of course you were pig-headed.
We actually knew people there who were from Perth, so that was just funny. So it was a bit of a party, and we stayed there for a week. And instead, we didn't want to spend our savings, so we busked on the street, but we did anyway to get money to go to Melbourne. So we busked, and then this pub proprietor saw us, and he said, "Why don't you come and play in a pub?" You know, so we got a gig. And then we said, well, we don't have a PA, so we just, we had a sort of ghetto blaster, a double tape ghetto blaster. It was too heavy to do that, actually. And, but yeah, we used to plug into it, a bass and a guitar. And I said, well, that's our PA. He goes, oh yeah, that'll be right. Okay, we get on the stage, the ghetto blaster, and the two plugged in. And it, you know, sounded awful, and the guy stopped us after 2 songs. Here's your money, just stop playing. Because it was more distracting than entertaining, apparently. So anyway, but yeah, I'm in the West. I've been in the West since 2007, and just getting sort of fact checking over here. But yeah, we bought a place, and we've sort of hunkered down there. I don't know, I forget why we ended up there, but I'm glad we did, because I just think we couldn't afford to buy anywhere else at that point. And it was unknown to us. Oh, Bill Miller was already living here, so he kind of sort of sold it to us.
Yeah, he's an advocate.
He was there, and his wife Lucy, when we were bidding for the house.
Oh, not bidding against you.
Oh God, I can't remember that. We were bidding against ourselves, as far as I remember. And yeah, but no, that was sort of like our fan base.
Great.
And then Neighbour sort of after that, and same band, and yeah, and Yarraville's full of musicians, and it's a pretty good place to land, actually.
It really is. It's a great place. So I'm interested, Stu, in the parts of your childhood that instilled or inspired creativity. Like, what can you tell me about that?
Okay. Well, apparently I was very artistic always, and just sort of was scribbling on things, and on walls, okay, and on lounges and stuff like that. And then on desks at school, which, you know, was quite, I don't know if anyone else has done that, but I got in trouble for that quite late into my years at school. Just couldn't help myself. But then otherwise I was scribbling in margins on tests and so on, and definitely on school books. Kept a couple of those, they're not too bad, but one day I'll show those. I pulled out a couple of things for this one from the 80s. I was a bit older, but I'm glad I held on to them. I'm quite tempted to just leave them behind. But here you go, we can show them now. Like as far as what inspired me, I guess we saw a lot of movies and TV in those days, and listened to a lot of AM radio. I can't remember really going to any art and seeing anything like that.
Okay.
But it was just sort of time to myself to sort of be creative. And then I got into Mum's friend had a guitar that was broken. It was broken at the neck and had one string on it, and I was given that. And I was thinking, what's going on? So the one string guitar was good for a while until the neck completely snapped off, and then she said, "Do you want 6 strings?" I don't know.
Or 4 strings.
Have a go.
Yes.
So she got me this audition guitar, which I think it came out special, but that's all I really deserved at that point. And it was that big, and it was easy to get around on. And I remember playing with the radio. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I switched to music. I was starting to get obsessed with that, and yeah, so more time in the bedroom by myself, playing the music. And what's it going to say? I found my own tuning. So I managed to sort of tune it, and so I could play some.
So you didn't have anyone around you to show you how?
No, not really. I did learn trumpet at school. So my teacher was called Dave Way, and he was a very big influence. He was a good guy, and he was a trumpet player himself, and he appeared on television and all this stuff in Perth. In the 60s especially, but I mean now this is the 80s, and he obviously tell us about it.
In his day.
But he used to do ads for the local car yards and so on.
Okay.
And he played all the instruments. And I was like, wow, this guy's alright, and he was playing with Helen Matthews. I think she was a pretty decent jazz singer at the time. Anyway, he was he was quite influential, like a very inspiring fella. But anyway, I found out eventually that the tuning I found was an open chord. So it's like when you play on a slide guitar, So I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. So I do favour that tuning still actually, because it's a lot easier. It's what I call the one finger chord.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might have to teach me that one.
Okay.
And so I guess my next question is going to be about what happened first for you, music or art. So I guess you talked about your, the doodling and the scribbling and the drawing. I'm sure they were more than scribbles. That you presumably would have got told off for, don't draw on the furniture and the walls, but you kept going. Was there a turning point for you that you'd like to share, which led you in the direction of following creative instincts? And I'm really interested in, is it a choice, or is it just something that maybe it's not a choice, it's just who you are?
No, well, when I was a teenager, at 17 I got a job in the public service, and I was like, here we go. And I was like, okay, I don't mind working, I still don't mind, but having a job, a proper job. But the thing is, even there I was starting to get in trouble because I'd be the drawings on my desk on the blotter, and so they're going, well, you've got to do more work, mate. And I was like, well, I was just scraping it in, obviously, and doing the work. But I had collected all my blotters after a while. I've still got a few of them. I cut them up and sort of put them in a book eventually. But anyway, the real reason I stayed in this job for 5 years, and I was like, oh my God, I can't handle it anymore. And so I'd already been playing in bands, so there was that going on. And we really wanted to take off. And Perth was all about covers, and you couldn't really, you could, but you wouldn't be heard. You could write your own music, was what I'm trying to say. But so you had to be a really decent cover band, because competition was quite fierce. They were quite.
What sort of what bands, like who would, like the big, was it Led Zeppelin cover bands, or was it?
Oh yeah, actually there was
cover bands.
there was one called the Jets, and they used to do Led Zeppelin
Yeah.
exclusively. We got support to them, and they didn't know what to make of us, because like half our stuff was the Rolling Stones and half of it was original.
Yeah.
And they just were big
They
biker
were one
guys.
thing.
So, but the other band's called Ice Tiger. That was one of the big ones that I remember, and geez, now I'm pushing it now, but Fingerprints.
Well, I guess, Ice Tiger, that's, a name up for grabs, I guess. For any
But
other.
yeah,
It's hard naming a band.
oh, it is. It's horrible naming a band. You're stuck with it. But yeah, after that, after the job, I really wanted to. That really pushed me to make something. If I don't do it now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
So that was the turning point. It's like, I
Yeah,
can't.
and I can't do it in Perth. There are a couple of bands who did make it at that time, like the Triffids and so on. They were very rare. Triffids are stems, maybe, and maybe the scientists, but guess what? They all left.
Yeah.
And I thought I'll take a leaf from their book and
Yeah.
do the same.
Yeah.
Go to where's the music, the centre of Australia music? Melbourne, I thought at the time.
Did you ever live in Sydney or?
No, it didn't really appeal to me, but I like Sydney. But
You played there, and you played around the world as well.
Yeah, I've played in a few places, Europe, America, and other places. Cocos Island. It's not really a country, but it should be really. It's a very strange place. But 20 countries I counted all up, including Cocos.
Awesome. Cocos Island. I'll have to find that on the map.
Yeah.
So, making something from nothing, like whether it's picking up a guitar or even a trumpet, with nothing really in mind, having a blank canvas before you, is that when the ideas come, or have you got ideas already that are just waiting to get out there? Like, is it when you pick up the instrument or get a pencil in your hand? Like, do you know what you're about to do?
Yeah. It's not always fixed,
Yeah.
For a while, I was just doing things on the spur of the moment, and just making up, just grabbing a tube and just having a go, and could probably complete a picture in one sitting, But after a while, I got slower, so I just sort of start one and then come back, walk past, do a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I favoured that for a while, just doing just sort of random, pulling it out of the air, if you like. But I found that it was slower and slower, because I don't know, it's kind of, you have to be inspired to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it was good for a while. It was good for about 4 years solid. I was on a good run there. But I also find that when you're creative, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but you sort of go through highs and lows and troughs and peaks. Just long periods of not feeling like doing anything. So I think when you've got the vibe, you should just do as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, other times, like recent times, I've had real concepts, and I wanted to pull that out. Like do it carefully, like that one.
Yeah.
That one there is, for me, that's really a technical piece, and I wanted to get it right, and it took ages. But I wanted to push myself up. It'd be easy in a way to sort of do another splatter picture,
Yeah.
but I find them exciting. There's something about them as well that has a lot of energy and movement. But I thought, the concept of that one, I thought it needs to be done right. Not photographic. If you're going to do truly representative photographic stuff, you may as well just take a photo.
Yeah.
Or do Photoshop. But
Yeah.
I used to work as a graphic artist, so I could do that as well, but I prefer to just come
So
out
you
my
did
hand.
have like a paid gig,
For a
regular
while,
gig as a
yeah.
graphic artist. And So with the training, like, did you go to art school, or how did that work out?
No, because at school we didn't have those options. That wasn't that kind of place. This small school I went to, and then in Bentley, WA, but they didn't have many options at all. They had media or music, and I was like, I gave media a go, which was mainly cutting up Super 8 film, I think. And I was like, oh, you're sitting in a dark room, but I don't really want to do this, so I ended up sort of nicking off and going to the music room and just fooling around. And with the staff picking up the bass, I was on the drums for a while. But then and they said, you need to be in music, one or the other, music.
Make a choice.
Or they made a choice.
They made the choice.
Music for you, and you're playing second trumpet. Second trumpet, okay, yeah. But there was no pressure in the second trumpet. It's always you're doing the harmony to the main tune. That's where I got a lot of idea about harmony, because I like to harmonise as a vocalist, so that's been pretty handy actually. So whether I liked it or not, that has actually been good for me. I don't know. They can't have seen me as the lead guy or whatever. I probably wasn't that good at the time. No, I definitely wasn't. And so it's funny, just those decisions are made for you. So there weren't many options. If I wanted to do anything, it was always of my own, volition. Yeah. Mum was like, do whatever you want. That she was quite happy if I was busy doing something. As long as it wasn't on furniture.
Textile. Well, how does your creative expression through music and art compete or complement each other? Like, is there a tussle there at all? Or
There is actually. I find that I've only got enough energy to do one at a time. Unless, when I was younger, I think I could do everything at once. If I was making a song, I'd be drawing more, but then I find nowadays if I'm drawing more, that takes place. That's all the creative spirit going into that one thing. And I'm not writing. It's like Frank Zappa said in this movie by the Monkees called Head, and he said there's a video of David Jones doing sort of tap dance, right? Sleepy Jean, that song, whatever it's called. And he goes, at the end of it, Frank Zappa appears and goes, well, you've been working on your dancing, Dave. That means your songwriting, or your singing is suffering now. It's like, oh, nice one, Frank. He actually pinpointed it, because not everyone's got time to do everything. No. I don't care who you are. I mean, unless you're Jim Henson or something, but then you die at 47. Do you know what I mean?
And I think, even for writers, they spend a lot of, if they're reading lots, then they're not writing as much. Yeah.
I think so, and also you've got to research, you've got to bring things in, otherwise what was going to come out, So I do spend, I feel like, a lot of time researching, which is like watching movies or
movies, not
reading,
TV these days.
TV, and just looking at art and listening to music. And lately, more than ever, I've been listening to music. So obviously, something's going to come out.
Yeah, something will happen.
I hope so.
We'll see. I'm sure it will. So there's the last two questions kind of intersect. Does planning or being organised have a role in enabling your creative career? And I guess and the next part of that is tell us about the upside and downside of living a creative life.
Yeah, well, once you become a musician, you realise if you want to get beyond your house or bedroom or what have you, you have to actually do stuff to make that happen, and then you've got to sort of put yourself out there in many different ways and try and talk to a lot of different people, try and get gigs, try and talk to labels and talk to artists to get stuff printed and so on. It just goes on and on. But a lot of it, I mean, you do have to pay for those things a lot of the time. If you're lucky, you have a manager.
Yeah.
But I never did, and so I found that it's best to just do it myself. But yeah, you've got to learn how to do these things, and it's not my favourite thing to do. But I'm lucky that I have also that art background, so I managed to do all my own art designs and graphic work.
Yeah, yeah.
So thousands of posters and CD covers and so on. Because when I did it as a paid job, I was doing, funnily enough, music. Actually, I designed CDs.
Okay.
The actual CDs artwork. It's not great, but I mean, I knew all the dimensions and so on, and the printing requirements. And then the other thing was, the other things are like self-management. No, you really have to pull out the energy.
Yeah.
Do all these things and try and.
It's another job in itself.
Yeah, and if you want to save a bit of money, you learn how to do it. If you want to pay someone, that's fine. But then you got to wear that as well.
Yeah.
But it's all sort of I don't know. If you don't I've always looked at it, if you don't put a sort of line out, you're not going to catch anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you've got to put webs out.
I think for visual artists, that is not something that people find as part of their role as being a visual artist. I think I was saying to someone before that your career in music, I think, has given you that extra, that advantage, if you like, as a visual artist, to go out there and seek opportunities and promote your artwork like you have to when you've released music or you've got a gig. You've got to tell people about it. And
I find that's been very helpful. You're quite right. I looked at this exhibition as another gig, basically. And treat it in the same way and try to do it in a timely manner and get people.
Sometimes it's good to have a deadline, that you can work towards.
You have to.
Treating it as another gig when I hear you perform. I really appreciate your being patient with my questions, and it's great to know a bit more about your, that blend of art and music, and that's what I would really love to hear more from any other musicians who are also visual artists or filmmakers or novelists or whatever, anybody that can combine multiple mediums into their creative life. And I'm a great believer that it helps us live better lives the more that we either expose ourselves to the creative process or even be a spectator or an observer of the creative process or the outputs from musicians and artists like yourself. So, thank you for that.
That's a good point, and thanks for putting up with my gibberish.
Yeah, great gibberish. Continue. So, thank you everybody. Please thank very casually and smoothly transition into your musical persona. I mean, it is still all you, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to play a tune I wrote for the exhibition, for the FutuRetro theme I'll start with. Sounds a bit weird writing a theme for your art exhibition, but I'm weird.